Hello. Hello, sweet listeners.
We do have questions today, my beautiful friendos.
We sure do. We have some great questions. These were a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun picking them out. I do have a quick story I wanted to tell you guys first about our dear friend Sophia.
Oh, good. Yes.
So yesterday, so for the past several months, I've been playing Animal Crossing, and eventually Sophia got jealous enough that she bought a Switch just to play Animal Crossing with me.
Yes.
So yesterday she came and visited my island, and I hadn't sent her any screenshots of, like, my island or what my character looked like, and I hadn't seen hers at all. And she arrives on my island, and our villagers looked exactly the same.
What?
Which, like, it just made me think of, remember, like, in high school where everyone used to be like, Sophia and Kat, you look identical.
That's true. Which you didn't.
And I was like, well,
But, like...
But we
You didn't.
Sophia is 6 feet tall and blonde, and I'm 5'3" and, dark hair, but...
I mean, your faces don't look anything alike. You just had
That's true.
extremely similar energy.
Yeah, you did have
Right.
similar energy.
And that energy has carried through into Animal Crossing, where we
believe.
unintentionally made exactly the same villager.
Incredible.
Wow.
Like, she got off the plane on my island, and I was like, what?
Truly.
What have you done?
That's amazing.
That is literally wild as fuck.
No doubles.
Not actually that
No
surprising, though.
No, it
not
doesn't.
like that
It doesn't
surprising.
surprise me. It just it feels true.
Exactly.
It feels true.
Yeah, she then went and changed her hair color because she could not stand for it. Also, because I gave her a vampire outfit and she wanted to look like a cool vampire, which I respect.
Yeah.
Hell
Valid.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, so that's what's going on with Sophia. That was actually one of the questions that was submitted to us.
Yes.
So
yes, there's your
There you go.
answer.
Now you know.
Asked and answered.
Beautiful, beautiful answer.
asked and answered.
But the other thing we wanted to address was that I, Noelle, am going to be taking a sabbatical from Dames and Dragons.
Sabbatical.
Like a university
sabbatical.
professor.
I
Indeed.
will sabbat, and you will watch. You probably won't. I hope you don't. Anyway,
I will be watching. I will be watching every minute of your sabbatical, Noelle.
Thank you. I will still be like around, but yeah. So like Fran's whole wild stuff that happens at the end of Arc 5, she's gonna be off the grid for a little bit, and so basically like I'll be back in full for Arc 7. Is that?
Yeah.
Yes, that is
Yes.
accurate. We've been planning this break for like years and years. Because I think at the time we were like, arcs they're gonna be like 10 episodes tops, and then that's like not what happened. But anyway, so we were like, yeah, well, Noelle will take a break after Arc 5 is over, and that's what's now happening. So if you want to catch up with what I'm doing in the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter at Noelle Cherie. I'm going to be doing some music stuff and like having just a grand old time working on some great projects. Someone in the chat has said she franished, and I'm angry. I'm seething with rage, and I just want you all to know that and feel what I'm feeling. But yeah, I'll be back, and I'll be on some Patreon stuff. Our like Patreon bonus arc is gonna continue as usual, and who knows? I may even be back for a visit in the podcast that I don't know.
Who knows?
Well, that actually.
Yes.
Are we good?
I was just gonna say, and these three will be taking up the editing, although I will still be making the music.
Yes.
And we will still be calling Noelle probably at like 4 a.m. crying because we can't figure out how to do something in Audacity.
And I will welcome you with open arms,
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Noelle.
open ear,
1 ear only.
1 ear.
one open ear.
Year only. Well, I wanted to segue into one of our first questions. It's not first in the list that I sent you guys. It's just the one that segues nicely from what Noelle was just saying.
I can't read words out of order.
Well, that seems like a personal problem. We got a bunch of questions that were very similar to this, so I wanted to address this one right off the bat. And that is, who will the guests be for next arc? And I'm not going to tell. That's the answer.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks.
We have a couple of people confirmed and a lot of people that I need to pluck up the courage to send a message to. And so I don't want to promise anything right now, but I will give a hint, and you will see some familiar faces, some fan favorites, some Fran favorites.
Some Fran favorites.
Favorites of Fran's.
It turns out this was all an elaborate ruse, and Fran's
guest is
just gonna
me
be
in
there.
every episode.
Every episode is Noelle.
Yep.
We just did it for publicity.
Yep. We did it for the Vine.
God.
That would be like really bad.
Yeah, really,
Really bad,
really
but it would be
bizarre.
very
Really bad, but it'd be so funny.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Truly.
Well, so stay tuned. Keep staying tuned. It's gonna be a fun time. So there's one question down. Does somebody else want to pick the next question?
Can we just do them in order? I'm scared.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Somebody.
Let's go back up to the top.
I can't read.
Yeah, no, that's a valid thing to say. I feel you. Me neither.
Thanks.
Caitlin,
All
didn't
right.
you get a degree in creative writing?
I did from the same
That doesn't
exact
have
college
anything
that
to do
you
with
did,
reading.
Catherine.
Yeah, it's not a degree
I
in
can
creative
write.
reading.
I can't read. You think I read
Jeez.
anything they sent me? No.
No.
I love your honesty.
So if we're going in order, it looks like the first question would probably be for Kat.
A lot of these are for me.
Well, you're just
That
a
makes
I'm just
popular.
here for emotional support.
Yes.
I can partially answer this one.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
should I
we
read
all
the
know
question
something
first?
about
Yeah,
Please
read the
it.
question.
Let's
Read the
read
question.
the questions instead of
Okay.
talking about them.
So, Iconocat from Twitter asks, how modular has the story been? They could have gone to the 3 cities in any order, so what would have happened if they'd gone to, say, Ilfra first?
I'm really interested in what Caitlin's answer to this is.
Yeah.
My answer is I don't know. But I do know that Kat told us that shit was going to get fucked up at whatever city we visited last. So,
Yeah, like it wasn't ever gonna be a thing where like this is the story in Danmar and this is the story in
Yeah.
Ilfra and this is the story in Madria. It's like the longer we wait, the more Torva is gonna have a foothold in the city we go to.
yeah.
Yes. I did actually have plans for each city that I can now share. So Ilfra would have been, if you'd gone to Ilfra first, it really would have just been focused on Hugin and Alden in the forest, because Torva, like, his army wouldn't have gotten there yet.
Right.
If you had gone to Madria first, you would have gotten to help Tenevine choose her wife. It would have been matchmaking, and that one would have been very fun.
Oh my
Ooh.
god.
So, pour one out
Fuck.
for what could have been.
Fuck.
But if you had gone to Danmar last, the city would have been almost empty because everybody would have fled the created drought. So, you know, I had plans, but
Cool.
That's dope as fuck.
So powerful, Kat.
Kat.
I mean, by I say
Kat,
I had plans,
hey.
I mean I had 3 bullet points listed for each city. Like, it's
Still very cool.
Kat, how would you
Still.
feel about a time travel arc where we just go back in time and do everything over again in a different order?
I would die. So, okay, who wants to read the next question?
I will read it from Larry on Twitter. Larry
You did not pronounce Larry's last name.
from Larry on Twitter. Larry Jr.
Larry Jr.
Larry
Um,
Jr.
Any alternative names for Mary other than the goddess of little wormies, of course?
I want to hear what your guys' what you guys would have named her.
What I mean, I don't know.
I mean, you already know
Which
what I
is-
would have named her. The
Oh,
goddess
right.
of little
I-
wormies.
right, of course. I'm sorry. I mean, I think like I probably would not have as extensive of a pantheon as you do, Kat, because I just don't think that way. So I would not be
You
able
know,
to hold all that
same.
in my head. So like I
In
probably
retrospect, I wouldn't either.
That's fair. But I think I don't know. Maybe I would have gone with Guardian, but I'm not sure about that. I don't know. Like here's the thing is like whatever I could have thought of, I like Survivor better, so I don't even want to like think about
Yeah,
it.
I'm really
Same.
happy with it.
Honestly, same, yeah.
Thank you. I didn't have any other alternatives. So I planned it out after Arc 2, after Into Avalis, because that's when I was sitting in the bathtub going, oh God, I have so much I need to plan, and needed to make some decisions. So that's when that got decided. And I remember many times over the past 2 years, how long has it been? I don't know.
3, I
Well,
think.
3 since the beginning, where I think,
Yeah, two since like
Yeah.
Indianapolis.
no, that makes no sense. Anyway, however long.
Whatever. Time.
A while.
There've been like times when I look in the Twitter and I look at Discord and I see like people's guesses and they're really good, and I'm like, well, everyone's expecting her to be the Guardian. Should it just be Guardian? Like that, everybody really wants that.
No, I think it's better that she's not.
It's really
Yeah, I
Stuck
think
to my guns, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Especially because like the intersection of surviving, or I mean, excuse me, the intersection of like conquering sacrifice by surviving. That's so dope.
Mhm.
And
So cool.
It's cool
Yeah,
too because
it's
I
really
like did not guess it like
Yeah.
at any point.
No, yeah, me neither.
That makes me feel very glad. See,
It's
part of this
amazing,
was
Kat.
also the season finale of Game of Thrones happened, and they were like, we changed it because people guessed stuff on
Oh
Twitter.
my God.
And I was like,
That's so
I
stupid.
see what happens when you do that, so now I won't do that.
Thank God.
Yeah.
If there's one thing we can learn from Game of Thrones, it's
God, that
that.
was so stupid.
Right,
The
it's that
India
if people
idiots.
are guessing your plot points before they happen, it might just mean that you foreshadowed it well.
You did a good job.
Yeah.
You wrote a good story.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. Themes are for 8th grade book reports.
Thank God.
Talk anymore.
I'm
about
done.
Narratively sensical character arcs are for babies. Okay, anyway, I'm just mad about that.
Who wants to read the next one?
Andrea John on Twitter says, Kat, as a DM, how does it feel to romance your
Yeah, Cat.
How does it feel, Cat?
I don't know, Noelle. How does it feel?
Kind of weird, but like I
Very
don't know.
weird.
It's like for me, when I'm like in the thick of it, I'm not thinking of it. I mean, maybe it's weirder for you because I feel like there's more of like a connection between a person's like own, like a person's player character and themselves
Mhm.
than there is between like your DM and an NPC they're playing.
Yeah.
You know? So like for me, it's like I'm not really thinking of like this is Cat. Sometimes afterwards when I'm editing, I'm like, that was Cat. But in the
I
moment,
just tap
don't.
into like my inner middle school girl on the Neopets role playing
Yes.
forums.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And like, you know,
Yep.
I'm just like, this isn't, you know, another teenage girl on the Neopets role playing forums. This is a soulful, blonde, half angel, half demon
Yeah.
who my character has fallen in love with.
So valid.
That's-
true.
that's- I just have to disconnect my
Mhm.
brain and my friendship
Yeah,
and put on my sad angsty teen boy hat,
I love that.
and you know,
Love that sad, angsty teen boy.
Yeah.
Good hat.
Mhm.
yeah. Although, like, I will say,
Hmm.
it sometimes it goes too far. Like when Noelle, as Fran said, we need to talk, and I had a legitimate spike of anxiety.
Didn't we all?
Yeah, we all were like freaking out. I was like shaking, but I was just like, I'm fine.
That was me too. I was like, it's like as soon as you were like, we need to talk, I was like, oh my God, Fran doesn't like me. I was like, oh no, I've misread the situation entirely, and Fran doesn't actually like me.
Oh, it's so brutal.
Oh my God. In that moment, you
Yeah,
were.
in that
I
moment.
was. I got too deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, way too deep.
Well, in that moment, you know, I was Fran's.
We were just two souls. We weren't, you know,
You're right. We weren't Cat and Noelle.
It's so pure.
we weren't Cat
You
and
were just
Noelle.
two souls.
We were just
connecting.
two middle
Souls
schoolers on the
connecting.
Neopets forum.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Trying not to get banned.
Oh, so hard. I mean, I got banned so many times on Neopets
You did?
role-playing forums.
Oh, me too.
Oh,
What
all
did
the
you get
time.
banned for?
Mostly
Like saying the word
yeah,
fart.
I got banned because I would advertised for people to do one-on-one role plays like off of Neopets, and that was like explicitly against the rules. But I was on AOL Instant Messenger, and then there were no rules on AOL Instant
I
Messenger.
had no idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
You should have just migrated to Gaia because that's all that you do
Yeah,
on
Gaia.
there.
my parents banned me from Gaia because one time I was looking at a thread about the Electric Boogaloo and somebody said, "Oh, that's a sex thing," and my parents were like, "You're looking at sex things. You're no longer allowed on this doll dress-up site."
Wow, that's. Well, they clearly made the right call.
Oh my god!
Oh,
I just like
man.
Snuck
astral
onto-
projected into like 2003. Like I am there.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Man.
Yep. It was, and I was so upset with myself because I had always been so good about closing my Gaia windows,
Ugh.
and there was one time I left the Gaia window open on the shared family
Oh.
computer.
That is so funny.
Oh my god.
Well,
Anyway, we're like way off topic.
No, I mean,
that's
I
what the
appreciate
people
that
need to
insight.
know. And that's, I think, just
Yeah.
what the people expect. All right,
That's
let's
what they
move on
know.
to the next question.
From Miss Alyss on Twitter, what are your favorite plot twists from this arc or any arc in general?
Oh man.
None of them were plot twists for me, so this is all for you guys.
Well, I mean, you can still answer that it was your favorite plot twist to conceive of.
Mm.
But let me think.
This wasn't my I don't want to say this was my favorite plot twist because I was viscerally upset, but it was a very good twist, which was Loria,
oh,
basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Loria's
that too.
whole
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, that was good.
Just-
that was
Yeah.
good. I feel like I didn't explain that one
was
well
really good.
enough, and that was my bad, but like,
No, but like I think you did a good job with it because it was like not
Yeah.
inconceivable.
No.
Like
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah. I was very sad, but it was. Man, you really got us,
fucking
Kat.
got us.
You
You fucking got us.
Got
Oh,
us.
I know my favorite one was when in the Weeping, no, not in Weeping God, in the Grey Manacle, when I set you guys up to go to that party, and then it was Dashing Dawson's party.
Oh god, fuck! I literally blocked that from my memory. I was like, that
and
was
we were
just
so
Diamond,
excited.
right?
There was like a build up for like episodes in advance. We were like, that party
I know.
gonna be lit. And then
Party.
literally
Party.
Dashing Dawson was there. And then we all like dissociated. We were like, no.
It was so bad. It was so
I
bad.
didn't,
Oh my
like,
god.
That was
just,
so
like,
good.
Passed out upon finding out that it was
Yeah,
Dashing
well,
Dawson.
part of that also is because
Yeah,
of
maybe it
Diamond.
Oh,
was.
yeah.
You were swooning,
It's like-
yeah.
It's so weird.
Mhm.
Like going back, I used to like when I was,
Right.
more of a listener, I never understood why you guys hated Dashing Dawson so much. And now I
He's gotten
do.
significantly more hateable.
He really
That's
has.
true.
Like as the days go
He is
by.
my favorite NPC
Yeah.
to play.
Worse and worse.
Hands down,
Guess
he's my
what?
favorite
I
NPC
can
to
tell,
play.
Kat. That's part
God.
of what makes him hateable.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah, truly. Because just the glee of just pure evil comes
Devilry.
emanates off
I'll
of
be
you.
real. If I could act like Dashing Dawson in my day-to-day life and experience no consequences, I absolutely would.
Wow.
Oh god.
Terrifying.
If I had that
You're
power,
so powerful, Kat.
I would use that power.
Oh my god. It's really
Deeply
I'm
frightening.
scared.
Wow.
Okay, let's just go on. Let's just move
Very
on to the
afraid.
next question because I don't want to dwell on this any longer than we
I don't want
have
to think
to.
about that.
No.
Not at all. Oh, I love this person's name.
Oh,
Oh.
think it's my reading time.
Yeah.
I get to read it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Dr. Business from Twitter asks, if the Guardians were in a band, what parts do you think they would play?
Very good question.
I don't know.
Mary would be the lead singer.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
a tough one.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep, obviously,
Um,
vocalist.
I don't
Have you guys seen
know.
those really cool videos of people doing ASL at rap concerts?
Yes.
Oh, they're
Oh,
so
no, that
good.
is cool.
Really
Fuck,
cool,
that's
yeah.
dope.
It's so dope.
Mary could do that if she wanted.
That is
it.
dope.
Yeah.
I have no knowledge of musical
Um,
instruments
I don't.
at all, but I will say that I think that Slake would play something nerdy, like the fucking clarinet.
Yes. I feel like Fran would play something like nerdy, but also like practical, like maybe like the keyboard.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was about to say the
I
keyboard.
was thinking an electric organ.
I was thinking the
like the one that you
keytar.
literally have in
Please
your
don't
room.
talk about my electric
Ooh.
organ that I have in my room. Okay, that's private.
Well,
It's your private electric organ.
I'm just saying.
Are you suffering from high-quality podcasts? You see, quality podcasts stimulate parts of your brain, leading to an irksome condition called thinking. But suffer no more, my friend. Introducing Discount Storytime's blend of fictional nonsense and rancid gibberish to provide soothing relief. Try Discount Storytime today. Available on most podcast catchers and at discountstorytime.com.
Consult your healthcare provider before listening to Discount Storytime. Not intended to treat unicyclitis, pickleball liver, or jittering expectations.
And I don't wish for it to spread about the internet. So,
Well, it's too
Incredible.
late now.
right,
It's out
well,
there.
You know what?
No?
Caitlin, what would Corbin play?
All right, so
I think Corbin would be
either-
the interpretive dancer.
Oh,
Corbin
yeah.
would be like the backup dancer. I feel like he would either be like drums and really bad at it,
yeah.
or like harmonica.
Just tambourine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
What's like the screechiest instrument?
Clarinet.
bagpipes?
Or no, not clarinet. What? It's
Yeah.
recorder.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
recorder.
Slake should
Oh,
play
man.
the
He
recorder.
would also try to be.
Slake should play we should be like a jug band,
Honestly,
and Slake should play the jug,
Wait,
and Fran can be the washboard.
wait.
Yeah?
Kat.
Yeah?
Kat. Do you remember at the ice cream social at work? There was like that band of like old men who played insane instruments.
So
Go
our
on.
work back in the before times, before the quarantines, occasionally our building would host ice cream socials. It wasn't actually our work. It was just
The
the
building.
property management company was like, let's bribe our tenants with ice cream.
Love it.
And one time they got the most insane band to play this ice cream social. It was a bunch of old
It was
like
so good.
old men playing like
oh,
there was one guy that was like a washboard that was also like a set of drums. It was like each
It was
one
like-
of them was one of those guys that had like the bunch of instruments that they're all playing all at the same time, but there were
They-
four of them.
it was like a 4-man,
Yeah.
1-man
I
band.
love this.
It was
I
literally
love
Actually,
it.
it was
insane.
a four-man,
crazy.
one-man band. It was amazing.
And they were like, they were good. Like they sounded
Oh my
dope as
God,
fuck.
Wow,
That's
well,
awesome.
I wish that was me.
Also, I want to change my answer to
Oh,
Yes.
accordion.
Yeah.
That's very fitting.
Oh yeah,
That's incredibly fitting.
Yeah, that's it.
I love that.
I love that.
Okay, I'll read the next one. Many people have asked this in various places in various formats. And they have asked, what are the inspirations for Avalis / the Guardians? Catherine, what are your inspirations for Avalis? I think you answered this about Estra, but not when we had gone to the world below.
Yes. So this is
Yes.
somebody, I didn't take down their name, but they asked specifically following up on that first Q&A we did, because I said ask me more after ours too. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a big one, and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Nice.
And basically the concept of a world
Nice.
in ruins. So also N.K. Jemisin's The Broken Earth series. And just this, like the idea of a world that has been through a bunch of different apocalypses, and there's a lot of ruins, and like society's rebuilding and reforming. And that was kind of where a lot of Avalis came from, was this idea of a world that is constantly being rebuilt on the ruins of older civilizations that have been destroyed. Which I'm actually very excited to kind of get more into some of those smaller, more ruined areas of Avalis, because the first, half or whatever of this podcast has been centered in the populated areas in the cities,
Right.
and on the continent of Roke, which is, in the world of Avalis, the most populated and the most recovered, like overall recovered of all of the continents
Right.
in the world. Besides the dwarves, but that's a whole other story, and we'll get to that eventually.
Dwarves! Ugh. I have been waiting for these.
Oh,
freaking
I wanna know those
dwarves. I have
dwarves.
been coveting the dwarf
Wanna know.
information.
That dwarf information's my spicy secret.
Ugh.
Keep it that.
Cat,
Spicy secret.
Catherine!
reveal the dwarves.
I'm very
Spicy.
excited. It's very fun.
God damn it.
At least it is in my head. I hope it's fun.
No, that's dope as hell. I'm very excited. The idea of seeing lots of cool ass ruins is
It's
very,
very Final
exciting
Fantasy
to me.
X.
It is also very
Yes.
Final Fantasy X.
And that's all I
But
care
Noelle,
about.
to be fair, you say that about everything.
It's true about everything.
So, guys, what were your inspirations for the Guardians?
My inspiration for Fran was Mindy Kaling. That
Nice.
was pretty much my only inspiration.
I love it.
And just like, I don't know, I've said this before, but just I wanted her to be enough of an asshole to cause some conflict, but not so much of an asshole that people were like, get her off the screen. Yeah,
Get her off that
exactly. I
podcast
don't wanna
screen.
see her. Yes.
My eyes.
Love it. Love to see with my podcast eyes. The eyes that belong in my ears. Hannah, Caitlin,
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm.
Tell me.
I can tell you
I
if
want
you
to
wish
know.
to know. Oh yeah. Well, let's see. So definitely like a mixture of things, I would say. But partially, I think one thing that I really was excited about was doing a beetle-based character, because to me, beetles are very much like a symbol of like resilience and of like no matter how many times you get kind of crushed down, you
Yeah.
keep going. Like cockroaches in particular, just like can survive anything. And I think that's really metal of them.
it works so
Um,
well. You
so-
didn't even know.
I mean, I just like that
Incredible.
stuff. And then other things would be, you know, partially me as a teenager, but also like my nicer friends as a teenager. Like, because, you know, we all have friends who are just like really
You can say
nice.
Ainsley
And
again for not nice friends.
well, but you know what I mean? Like, we all have friends who are like a friend who is just like so nice. And you're like, what the hell's wrong with you? But I love you. But like, why are you so nice?
I don't.
So a little bit.
Yeah, I don't actually really
Well.
either.
I relate, Hannah. I relate.
Oh, yeah. Anyway,
Well.
they exist. They're out there. And then, oh yeah, the other thing was definitely, weirdly, Newt from Pacific Rim.
Nice.
I
So
can see that.
originally Slake was going to be much more of a Newt XP, but I modded them more.
Caitlin.
So all of that was amazing and beautiful, and you guys put so much wonderful thought into your characters and your world. And like literally, Corbin was based off of the impersonation that I do of Voldemort to freak Sophia out.
I love that. You love to hear
I
it.
love it.
He also physically, his clothing was based off of Freddie Mercury. And
Well, I mean,
also
Wasn't his clothing
Valid.
like originally? Wasn't it kind of supposed to be like, you know, liberated
It was-
male character?
it was, yeah. It was also like Hawkeye Initiative
Yes.
type situation. But now I've just fully embraced like it. Like, oh my god, if you look on Pinterest and you just find that sweet spot of like scantily clad, muscly dudes on
Yes.
the runway. Oh, tell you what, that's it. That is it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it all over.
I didn't know that was a part of Pinterest.
That's the main
I made a-
thing, Kat.
It's the whole.
I'm in the
reason.
wrong part of Pinterest.
I'll send you a link. I'll send
It's
you
a
a link
wide
to Corbin's
world.
lookbook.
Oh, please. Please.
Oh, incredible.
I'm very excited.
Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I literally just turn my entire brain off when I'm playing Corbin and just follow
That
exactly
shows.
what my impulses are.
That shows.
So, yeah.
Your id.
Corbin is my inspiration for Corbin is my id.
Well, it really works. and
Valid.
It's incredible.
Thanks.
So great
Thanks.
job. Great job, you guys.
Val,
Val
id.
Id really works.
Eh, Oh, got him.
Well,
Got it,
next
got it.
question.
All right, so we're going to skip that next question because we already did it. And then the next one, somebody else needs to read because it's for me.
I will read it. Nate Fosdick on Twitter says, Kat, do you have any tips, tricks, or ways you structure your thoughts when you are writing gods and their myths?
Why do you get so weird
DM
when
a
you
lot.
read
Don't
stuff?
talk to me. But I have this sense that the myths I write lack the texture that yours bring to your game. And then Kat has a little
No,
note
no,
under-
no, stop. Don't
I won't
read
read
my
Kat's
notes.
note.
Don't read it.
No, it's read from Kat.
I'm
Well,
dying.
now that you've revealed the note is there, I have to tell them what it is, and that's just that I want us all to answer this question because we're all artists and writers and have great insights on this.
Don't let them
Don't
know.
let them know that I think about these things ahead of time. It's a secret coaching for my friends.
Coach, I'm scared.
Clearly, this is the first time I'm reading this.
Coach, he's pulling.
If you
he's
start to
pulling back
answer the
curtain
question-
and I'm scared. They're all gonna know.
If you start to answer the question wrong, Kat will just like grab your hand and squeeze it really, really tightly, and you'll know you need to adjust what you're
Social
saying.
distancing,
That's
Hannah.
scary.
I mean,
I
metaphorically.
don't
It's
know.
like-
We're not
No,
in the same
no,
room.
I have a really, really long, one of those extender grabby things.
Yeah.
And it's gonna-
Yeah, it can go all around
the way
Minneapolis.
around Minneapolis.
and
It's gonna
short.
grab your little hand. It's the shape of a dinosaur head.
Is it
It's
gonna
got
like?
pitch.
Is it gonna
Oh,
like
I love
squeeze
those
through
things.
my vent like that one episode of X Files?
No.
I don't know the episode of X-Files you're talking about, but yes.
What?
That's
a classic
Yeah,
ep.
that's
You need
a
to see
classic
that.
ep. We just watched that episode.
I'm sorry.
Kat,
Kat, will you
that's
like the best
share
app.
your tips, tricks, or ways you structure your
Thank
thoughts?
you. Thank you.
You're
I'm going to
writing.
share one thing. One thing that's going to make everybody very mad. It's that I haven't watched X-Files. Anyway, so my tips, tricks, and things. Read myths. That's honestly like the biggest thing I can say is read mythologies. I really highly recommend Neil Gaiman's Norse myths, and I'm currently listening to Stephen Fry's Mythos, which is the modern retellings of the Greek myths, which are really actually very good. I'm listening to the audiobook. Mike and I are very deep into doing puzzles, and we've been listening to Mythos while we're doing puzzles.
I don't have anything to say about that.
that sounds really good.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me live on that. We're very old. We're very old people.
I have nothing to say about it, Kat. I don't know what you mean.
Is it Stephen Fry, like the comedic actor Stephen
Yeah.
Fry?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm
and
in.
but basically, if you want to write good myths, the biggest thing is to look at mythic structure and listen to a lot of myth. Is based on it's very intertwined with its own storytelling structure, and there are lots of repetition is big in myth.
And like
so
archetypes.
archetypes and stories that are simple but apply broadly. And also thinking about like what is the myth explaining? And not all myths are, how did this get to be this way? But all of them are explaining something about nature or about human nature, or because myths are stories that are enduring. And they are enduring for a reason, and that's because they relate to something deep in human psyche and the way that we think about the world and relate to the world. So when you're writing myths for a fantasy world, you have to think about how is this myth explaining the way people think in this world.
And I like to think too that like, especially like when you're writing for worlds that have like current myths, a lot of times like the myths that you're writing are in some cases like part of a religion. So it's not just like a story about something that happened. It's like it's intrinsically connected to like the way that your characters believe the world works, basically.
Yes.
Right.
Honestly, something that's really interesting to look at is if you look at current, like, I'm going to use Christianity as an example. If you look at stories from the Bible and think about how do those affect the way people think, because that is a current religion that has ancient stories, and that very much affects the way people think even to this day.
Right.
So that's a really interesting example, and
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, well, it's not to like get all up on it because my mom is a pastor, but like it's interesting when you think about too, like most people who are Christians today wouldn't call like the story of Noah's Ark a myth. They would say it's the story of Noah's Ark. So like there is like I feel like a separation that the word myth just inherently gives as well sometimes. When you're applying it within the actual narrative anyways.
Right.
Also,
That's a really good point.
Also, this is not about writing necessarily, but Kat, you might like this as well. I, in terms of structure, a little while ago downloaded Scrivener.
Oh, me, I have it too. It's so nice.
I love it so much.
It's worth the money.
Scrivener is really good for like when you're writing a story that has a lot of world building in particular, because it's way easier to keep track of shit, and I'm very bad at that.
I recently just outlined a screenplay that is just a lesbian version of Sabrina.
Yes.
Valid.
And I just filled it with pictures of mansions. It was a
Yeah.
good time.
I will
love
say
it.
Scrivener definitely takes some getting used to, though. Like,
Yes.
it is not immediately user friendly, but there are like a lot of tutorials and stuff.
Yeah, and like
online.
their initial tutorial works pretty well. So
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yup. It's good. It's good. And I mean, I think sometimes that even like that structuring part of writing can be the thing that makes you excited to write too. And being excited to write makes your writing better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I've learned this from Kat in particular about DMing, but like having just straight up written out flavor text can really help you bring your players into the world. Like every time Kat just like reads a section of something that she wrote, like a novel, like she was writing part of a novel, I'm just like in it. I'm like, I'm here, Kat. You brought me into the world and I'm here.
I'm here and it's real.
Thank you.
Truly.
I try not to make those too long because otherwise I'm just writing a novel.
Yes.
But
But that's
But,
also
like, they
another good strategy.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Have them, but have them be short.
Have them,
Or like
have them
if
be
they are
short.
gonna be long, keep it for like very important like climactic scenes.
Right.
Yeah. Even at the end of like arc 5, I felt like I was talking way too much at the end, but that's just how it had to be.
Yeah.
It felt appropriate.
Yeah, definitely.
Incredible. And I'm not a writer, I will say, but I do visual art, and I do like to incorporate kind of storytelling into it. And I just want to give a shout out to art
hell yeah.
history, because
Yes.
it's insane
Yes.
and fascinating, and will tell you
Yes.
a lot about like the world at the time it was made. And also just human history is so stupid and insane. And there is so much stupid and insane shit that has happened in human history. And it's very
I feel
interesting.
like when you're pulling from
like,
history, it feels more real to you. And if it feels more real to you, then that will transmit to your players as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess like the reason I bring that up too is just like sometimes, you know, you feel like, oh, like the way my brain work is dumb, and isn't it amazing how dumb everything is? But if you really look back in history, everything was dumb then
Everything was
too.
dumb then.
Been dumb.
Everybody. And there's so many powerful people in
Yeah.
history who were so astoundingly stupid. Hello, my sweet and beautiful listeners, my darling mini succulents, my 95% naturally derived ingredient friends. Welcome to this ad break. It's me, it's Kat, your DM from the show, where I wasn't DMing, that you were just listening to. We were just answering some questions. And I'm going to answer a question that you're probably all asking. Which is, what is our posting schedule going to look like? We did have to push back our beginning of recording Arc 6 because our city and the world is on fire. Our city is no longer on fire, but it was for a hot minute there. And we had to push back our recording schedule, so that means we are going to have to push back our release schedule. And by a little bit more than we had hoped initially, just because we still need to get guests scheduled, and we need to build in enough time to do that. So coming up on our normal feed, there is going to be a pretty substantial break. You're not really going to see much of us until the end of July. And I'm very sorry to be gone from you guys for so long. We will be doing some stuff on our Patreon, our Damesian Dive that we did live. That is going to be re-released as a edited episode and sound beautiful. And then we do have another Damesian Dive coming up that will be released on July 5th. So if you are not subscribing to our Patreon and you are hungry for that Dames content in the next month and a half here, head on over there. Subscribe at the $3 level to get those hot and spicy apps. After that, we will be back on that grind on July 26th, and then back on our every 2 weeks posting schedule. So I know it's a bit of a long break for those of you who aren't subscribed to our Patreon, but we really just need to take the time so that we have a great arc for you guys with Arc 6. It's just the nature of the beast when you're trying to schedule guests. You need to build in a little more time. So with all of that said, let's thank some people who are supporting us on that Patreon. And I want to give a big, just blanket shout out to everybody who is currently donating on our Patreon. Because of you guys, we were able to match $2,000 in donations to 3 really great organizations here in Minneapolis that are supporting the Black Lives Matter movement and helping to rebuild our neighborhoods and advocate for change within our city. And we could not have done that without your guys' support. We are so, so grateful that we had the means to do that because you guys show up and donate to us. We were able to match $2,000 in donations to bail funds and community organizations around the United States that are supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. We donated our money to 3 organizations here in the Minneapolis Twin Cities area. We chose the Pimento Relief Fund, the TC Care Collective, and Almuan. These are great organizations that are doing so much to support the Black Lives Matter movement and help rebuild businesses that were affected by fires here in Minneapolis. Again, just huge thank you to our patrons who provided the funds for that, for us to be able to do that. And thank you to everybody on Twitter who came out and matched those donations to community organizations around the United States. Really, really love to see that. And I'm so grateful that we have been able to use our platform in this way and foster a community that has so much heart and cares so much. So with all that said, before I start getting emotional, let's thank the people who started donating since the last time we did these shout-outs. That's going to be Code Joe 142, Monkey Birds, Lila, Claire, Screech, Lily, Daniel Loud, Allison, Eli, Danielle, Nelliel. Is that like Dark Noel? Okay, never mind. Kieran, Adam, Jim, Sage, Kelly, Kelsey, Vincent, Sean, Lindsay, Melody, Robert, Ayla, Jay, and Amber. Thank you all so very much, you beautiful, sweet birds. Next we will thank those beautiful reviewers. That's going to be a thank you to Planet 4, Binwin Bronzebottom III, Maddie Who 9, Road Egg, I Would Drink the Bird Tea, KC Trucker, Terrible Gamer YL, Fan in a Jar, and Number 1 Fran Fan. Thank you all so much for reviewing. That is the way that gets us up them charts, climbing those charts for all of our hearts. And some of them farts. Okay, so now we have some advertising that we need to do. Okay, so today we are advertising for Elderwood Academy. I've talked about Elderwood Academy before. Oh, they're so fun. They make amazing quality gaming products, including dice towers, dice tray, dice boxes, deck boxes, dice, and more. everything is crafted to look like spell books, scroll cases, codexes, and the other fantasy gear that we love. I, right now, am absolutely obsessed with these beautiful spell books. They are a game box, but they are more than a game box. They are your key to rolling up to a new D&D game and establishing your dominance as the coolest person at the table. They are made out of wood and leather. You can choose the design that you put on them. You can put a skull. You can put a phoenix. You can put some Lord of the Rings looking nonsense. I love it. I love it. Be the Gandalf you want to see in the world. Go to elderwoodacademy.com/don'tsplit and you can find all these very cool products, including that awesome spell book. It also has like a whiteboard on the inside cover so you can take notes or write spells or mean notes. Don't write mean notes. Unless you guys have that sort of dynamic at your table. And we also now are going to hear from another brilliant show on the DSPN network.
Are you looking for a great story? Do you love Star Wars? Do you like podcasts?
If you said yes to any of these, check out the Redemption Podcast.
Well, I have less in my head than you do normally, probably.
You haven't met the crew I'm with. Pretty much everywhere we go, our life is in danger.
Things didn't explode. That's pretty sneaky for us.
That sounds horrible.
Yes, please finish up whatever underhanded thing you're doing on the computer terminals at the Jedi Temple.
Check out Redemption Podcast at www.redemptionpodcast.com.
Wasn't that wonderful? We loved it. And Chantel. Oh, Chantel. I've only seen you in the corner of Caitlin's screen lately. You are so far away. And you are petting Caitlin's new dog, which is all I want to do right now. But I must tear you away from that joyous activity because, Chantel, the code word is Synflower Seed. The sleeper agent is active. Go.
The next question. Nadner,
Oh boy.
Wizards OP Dudak on Twitter has asked, Corbin, what is your favorite meal and how does it relate to Darius?
So, Caitlin, you now must tap into Corbin, turn off Caitlin Brain, become Corbin. This question was asked to Corbin.
Is Corbin there?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Please tell us your
Corbin.
favorite meal.
Oh, man. Well, I love bugs. As you know, I'm thirsting after that Darius, let me tell you, every day of my damn life. I had some, what was it? On the ship in some buckets, some chum.
Oh, yeah. You did have some chum.
Some good fish chum. I think that's one of the better things I've ever had. But big bugs are good too, you know. If you cook them, that's good. You could eat them raw over some rice, that's good. Crack an egg over them, that's good.
An egg? Be gone! This is not Corbin!
Like a snake egg.
Oh, of course.
Well, also, crows routinely eat the eggs of other birds.
Yeah.
Hannah, were you in that
it's
Wesley
valid.
Wallace class where the crows started eating?
You guys bring this
Wait,
up
wait,
so
I'm sorry.
much.
The crow started
No,
what?
it was like it was
Oh, it was Caitlin. It was Caitlin and I were in that class.
It was me.
I need the sentence to
So
be
in our
spoken
environmental
again.
science class once, while we were in the middle of class, our teacher, Wesley Wallace, he was like, "Oh, look out the window! This is amazing!" And the crows were eating the baby goslings that were on the roof of the school.
Straight up just eating them.
Like,
Wesley Wallace was like, gather round,
so
class.
fucked
Nature's happening.
it was horrible.
It was the most fucked
That's
up
so
shit I've ever
fucked up.
seen.
Let us
That's
move
incredible.
swiftly onward.
Thank you, Noelle. Oh, this is a good question. I really like this question. I'll read this one. Sierra on Twitter asks, in a Lord of the Rings AU, who would each of your characters be?
Yes.
Well, I think we know what we need to
Yeah.
do. We need to fight to the death to determine who gets to be Boromir.
I mean, Phelan
Sophia
gives
is
me big
Boromir.
Boromir vibes, to be honest.
No, listen, we all know Sophia's Boromir. She's literally Boromir in
You're
my phone.
right! You're right.
So Leica is Boromir.
You're right. Leica's Boromir.
All right.
That's a given.
That's a given.
Mm-hmm.
God, I wish I were
True, but
Gimli.
Fran's not really. Well, I feel like Corbin's more of a Gimli.
Yeah.
If Fran were Gimli, that would mean Phelan was Legolas.
That's so cute.
I
No,
feel
but
like,
actually,
But it's not true.
I feel like Corbin is like a Merry or a Pippin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
yes.
Yeah.
I would say Pippin.
Pippin. Yeah, for sure. Pippin, I think.
I was struggling thinking about this because it's like, is Mary Sam or is Slake Sam? That's the question for
Is
me.
Mary
I mean,
Sam?
I think thematically, Merry is Frodo. Just
Yeah,
in the
I
whole
think
saving
Slake-
the world
Oh,
sort of
Slake
thing.
is a good Sam character, and you guys know who Fran is.
Galadriel.
Gollum?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh.
I think Fran's kind of an Aragorn type. I think we
Yeah.
can all
And
agree
that-
that Fran is
and that makes
fully
that makes
Aragorn.
Phelan Arwen.
Yeah, exactly, and I think it works perfectly.
Yeah, I think it all works perfectly, and I think everyone will agree that Fran is exactly like Aragorn in all ways, and there are no differences. And I plagiarized J.R.R. Tolkien, and I admit it. I know
So
that you
one-to-one
guys have all been
comparison.
wondering, and I admit it. It's true. Stop sending me creepy DMs and trying to dox my mom. Okay? I plagiarized. I own up to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, now
Fran,
the truth is
Aragorn,
out.
they end in the same two letter. No, they don't. They end in the same one letter.
Same
Oh.
one letter.
Is that a
Good
coincidence?
spelling.
No.
It's not.
No.
Not. None of it's a
Wow.
coincidence.
So that's true
Do you guys?
of everything. What?
Oh, nothing. I was just gonna make a comparison about how Strider is like wet when you first see him, and Fran. has-
True. Yeah, why is he
water
wet?
hair.
Oh, because it's raining.
It's raining. Yeah. You nasty.
He's just
Well,
wet.
nobody else is wet, but I
He's
guess
just
he
like
came
that.
in from the outside more recently.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I never questioned
likes to
it
be
until
moist.
that moment. I was just like, of
I
course
mean,
he's wet.
honestly,
He's wet.
Aragorn is wet pretty much for most
lot
of
of the
the
time.
Like
films.
90% of the film.
He's
Yeah.
just
Everybody
always
else
wet.
is dry, and he's
He's a
like, my
moist
hair's
man.
wet. And
He just
greasy.
likes to be damp.
Yeah, just
my
like
God.
Fran.
Wow.
Wow.
Are we sure J.R.R. Tolkien didn't plagiarize you?
We're not sure about that. That remains to be seen, and I am calling my lawyer. So, J.R.R.
All right.
Square up.
Square
Mm.
up. JRR. Gonna pull those bones out of the ground and have a fist fight.
And sue them.
Aw, yeah.
Let us move on.
Let us move on.
All right.
I will read it.
You want to read this one? Okay.
Witchish Arts on Twitter asks, is there anything y'all do that differs from an actual play that makes recording the podcast easier? What do they mean by differs from an actual play?
I think they mean like just playing around the table.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
We re-record things
Yeah.
occasionally.
I think, yeah, we do re-record things. Sometimes we'll be like, that was too stupid, but that's very rare.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's just because like, oh, it's like that doesn't make sense because we forgot about this other thing. That's usually what it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And then I guess like we definitely like try to get through like battles and stuff probably more than we would if we were just playing. We would like sit back and enjoy them a little more.
Yeah.
But like since we're
Yeah.
recording, we're kind of like, this needs to be over. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I feel that way about I think I'd feel that way about
to
battles
some extent,
regardless.
but like I feel like when I don't know, at least like in my experience playing, it's like okay, like we're gonna do this battle, like we did 2 rounds, let's get pizza and take a break.
Yeah. Well, and like at this point,
I guess
I've
that
literally
makes
been
sense.
playing D&D for a podcast longer than I've ever
Yeah.
played D&D not for a podcast.
Same.
But like
Same.
I do have visceral memories of like before we started the podcast where like we would be in a 7-person group and like a couple people would be going and like deciding what they were going to do and everybody else was just like talking or fucking off or doing
That's
whatever
true. Yeah,
and
we're-
not paying
yeah, that's
attention like until something happened, and that does not happen anymore.
No, that's true.
No, and that's also just having a smaller group.
Yes, yeah,
helps
that's
with that.
also
It's harder to
true.
keep 7 people engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I think the one thing you guys let me get away with a little bit more, I guess, like railroading,
Oh yeah.
or just sort of like
Yeah.
if I was DMing for just a table of my friends, there are a lot more I let a lot more shenanigans happen.
Right.
Like that time Mordai just punched through the obsidian wall of a instead of figuring out the puzzle.
Yeah. So
we,
like,
well,
Incredible.
According to the rules of D&D, it was legal.
It worked. It was legal.
it was legal. It worked. We looked.
There's nothing in the
well,
book.
I think we like looked up
Yeah,
the
it was
like the
like-
strength of obsidian.
Exactly. And it was like, you're going to have to punch it this many times. And I was like, bet. Like, I will do it.
So like it's like that, and it's also that you guys sort of just go along with my plot hooks because like that's
right. We want
the story.
to
Right.
tell a good
Yeah.
story and not like
fuck around.
Yeah, and also
punch
like I
walls.
feel like there's more of a feeling of like trying to get one over on the DM when you're just playing. You know?
Yes.
And like there's definitely like not really any of that.
No, yeah, it's much more like how can we work with Kat to make this very
Yeah.
cool, as opposed to like how can we ruin Kat's life.
Yeah.
Well, and like just like
I love it. I
think
really
there's-
appreciate that.
I feel like there's just a difference between like how can we have like the best, funniest, most riotous time, and how can we tell a
Yeah.
good story. And
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
those things intertwine, but
Mhm.
oftentimes how can we just like be laughing so hard that we're about to shit like for 4 hours straight is not the same thing and would not be entertaining to other
Right.
people so much as telling
No.
a story that actually makes sense
Yes.
and doing actions that actually make sense.
With occasional breaks to
Uh,
talk about Beef Farm and
course,
laughing
of
so
course,
much
of
that you're
course.
gonna shit.
Yeah, and occasional breaks to play some podcasts within a podcast.
Yes, yeah.
You know, to
D&D
play
inside
some
of-
some diners and drive-ins and dragons.
Dragons and dives, or to play Underwater Temple, Underwater Monk.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
I listen to that fairly often.
That is. Anytime I need everybody to focus, I play. If you just look up on YouTube, Underwater Temple, Underwater Monk, I play that through everybody's
the
headphones,
greatest song.
and it's just immediate.
Well, it's
like
impossible
everybody's
to
in.
listen to that song without like going silent and dancing your heart out.
Yeah,
like,
no.
just giving
That's
it
like
your
all
all.
there
Yeah.
is to do.
All right, should we move on? Next question.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna read
Okay.
it. I'm gonna do it.
We're moving into the
Uh,
Tumblr questions now.
Ah.
Ooh.
All right, a Tumblr question from You Are My Ride Home. In the latest arc, which parts would you all personally consider to be the most pivotal in terms of your character's growth?
I feel like also like if you feel like there was a more pivotal moment in another arc, we could also answer that. What's yours, Slake? I mean, Hannah.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Well,
Slake.
it's me, Slake.
Slake speak.
I tricked you all. It was Slake all along. Hannah was the
Oh my
was the
God.
character.
Holy shit.
Went too deep.
No. Okay. I would say that like this arc marks, I think, the first time we've seen Slake actually get really angry, and even if they didn't, maybe fully express that, I think that is, yeah, I think that's a very kind of important thing. I think that they're a person who's kind of very afraid of being rejected if they're not, presenting like a likable self. So I hope they can, I hope they can learn to like get mad and not hold
That's
it
an
back.
incredible
So
life
that's what I'd
lesson
say.
that I need to learn, Hannah.
Same.
Me too.
Honestly, same.
We're all
That's like
gonna
the
be
story
like,
of my
like,
fucking
it's
life.
like,
So
you know that picture of like that old woman guiding the goats across the water, the misty lake. We're all the goats and Slake is the old woman.
Yep.
Yep. Absolutely.
Exactly it.
Slake will lead us to freedom.
I don't even know how to interpret that in this context, but thank you.
Misty water of life.
Yeah, towards healthily expressing your anger and, all that stuff. I don't know.
All that stuff.
All that other
All that
crap.
stuff.
Also,
Feeling emotion or whatever.
Which, frankly, who does that?
I'm trying to think of, has Fran even ever grown? Like, what's her deal?
Yes.
Yes.
I think a pivotal moment that comes to mind is like in arc 2, and Fran tried to leave the group, and Mary was like, "No, like you're our friend. Like that's a reason for you to stay." Basically, that was a pivotal moment. I think Fran still isn't over basically feeling like on some level she's the bad guy. So that remains to be seen what her deal is. But I think in this arc, her pivotal moment, I think, is the conversation with Phelan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As far as her whole, and this ties into another question that I was asked too, as far as like her whole deal of immediately falling in love in quotations ? I was also asked. I'll just let me just answer
we'll just
two
skip
in
down
one.
to that other
I was
question.
also asked this by M. Regale on Patreon, basically about that scene, why Fran rejected Phelan and what that means. I guess like basically, I mean, it's kind of like what Fran was saying. Like she thinks she knows what falling in love is like, and what she feels for Phelan isn't that thing. But I mean, consider the source of who she learned what love was from.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing Fran begin to understand that her view of the world, and what she actually wants and what she actually feels may not be, the same. And she is just kind of flying by the seat of her pants because she wanted to smooch a boy. And so she just did it.
Incredible.
Yeah.
An inspiration.
Unto us all.
Yes.
Corbin?
Corbin's most pivotal moment of growth was obviously the moment, I think, in like the last mini arc when he finally came to terms with the fact that he's not a crow, and that he is in fact a human boy. But I think he's getting thrown another pivotal moment of growth in the end of this arc, just by way of having like kind of the one person that he looked up to as a leader, even though he would never admit it, disappear completely from his life.
Yeah, Corbin is now the last OG Guardian.
Yeah, he's gonna be fucked.
Oh my
he's
god,
gonna be
that's
fucked up
fucking
about
crazy.
that shit.
Corbin's in charge now.
Corbin is now the
Anyways,
leader.
we're all gonna die.
Yeah, you're right.
Episode 1 of the next arc is literally Slake and Corbin's funeral.
It's just slow pan
Valid.
out. There's a grave, and then you see there's another grave. It's incredible.
Let's move to the next question.
Let us do it.
Whose turn is it to read? Is it my turn?
Yes.
Or do I just like
Just
reading
read
questions?
Just
Okay.
read it, Kat.
It's either, is it Teo? Do you think Teo?
Yeah.
Teo on
that seems
Tumblr
right.
asks, who would be the worst PC/NPC to be trapped in an elevator with for several hours? Excluding the obvious bastard/evil people, we're entirely basing this off of pure annoyance and stress levels by the end of hour 2.
Really tough
I mean,
question.
Dawson is the obvious answer.
Dawson, but he's
Right, but
evil.
he's
That's-
evil.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was gonna say. It's
Yeah.
like Dawson
He's
was
not
my
evil.
first.
He's just
He's evil, and he's an obvious bastard.
He is a bastard.
he is
and
an
evil.
obvious
yeah.
bastard. He's not evil. If you put his alignment anywhere, he is chaotic neutral.
He doesn't deserve
Yeah,
to be
but,
part
like,
of this question. I'm
Okay.
excluding
He's
him.
excluded. He's excluded because I would rather be trapped in an elevator with Torva than Dasher.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Same. The worst
God.
PC NPC to be trapped within an elevator. I mean, I guess
Vespria.
Vespria,
Yeah.
absolutely. Hands
Yeah,
down.
there are more, though.
I honestly would not like to be trapped in an elevator with any of the Guardians except for Laika.
Actually, yeah. I think, I agree completely with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It would be terrible.
Yeah. I think
Or
Corbin would be just like
Mary would be
annoying.
okay.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I wasn't counting her.
Mary would be fine. Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
I feel like Fran would be
Fran
fine.
would just be
What's she gonna
annoying
do?
and anxious.
Yeah.
She would probably solve the problems. Like if you want your problem solved, fine, Fran can be there. But like if you just don't want to be annoyed.
Yeah, Fran would be blaming you if you were the other person
what
in the
did you
elevator.
do?
Yeah.
It's true. And yeah, I think Laika though would just be like chill and would be like, let's go out the top, which I mean might kill you, but you'd have a great time before you died.
Yeah, Laika
You'd
would
have a
lead you
great
on
time
a
doing
dope
it.
adventure.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I think any of the nobles from the court of Madria,
Oh, you're
terrible.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking of what's her face, Sylvia or whatever.
Oh yeah, Sylvia
Yes.
Gilda.
Yeah. Any of them really would
Yeah,
be pretty bad.
I would hate that.
Egg
I think she'd be
splat.
the worst. She'd like want to talk to your
Egg splat.
manager
Who would
while
be
you
the,
were
who would
in
be
the elevator.
best? I think King of Danmar.
King of Danmar,
yes, King of
absolutely.
Danmar.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely,
Absolute
King of
best.
Danmar.
Probably.
All right. Well,
Oh, that.
Actually,
Artie would
Artie
also-
for me.
Oh,
I'd
Artie
like
would
to
be
be
good too.
It
Yeah, they'd be
depends.
good too.
Like, am I prepared for an entity like Artie to exist? Because if so, sure, Artie. Like, if I'm me and I
Yeah.
have to, like, I have to go,
Yeah.
I have to have
Yeah.
an existential crisis. I have to, like, come to terms with the fact that I've lost my mind, and then I have to escape the elevator. So,
Yeah, that's a good point.
See, I would just love it. I'd be like, cool, robots are real now. I'm having a great time in this elevator with my new robot wife, Artie the Artificer.
yeah. Well, I'm happy
Hannah,
for you.
I have some really good news to break to you. Robots are already real.
That's not the
Hannah,
same.
they're already real.
Hannah, robots
It's not the same.
Have you
You know what I mean?
Sophia's a robot.
You guys don't toy with me. You know that like when I want robots to be real, you know that I want, like a cool robot that I can teach how to feel feelings
how
and
do
we
you
fall in
know
love
that
like in a cool way.
That's not already...
How do you know that the Boston Dynamics dogs don't feel feelings?
Yeah.
Wait, there are dog
Yeah.
robots?
Yeah, the Boston Dynamics dog robots. They don't look like
they're just
dogs
like the ones
necessarily.
you've seen them. They're like the ones that they
You've
like
seen them.
kick over and then they get back up.
I think let's move on to the next question.
Let us do it. Caitlin, please read the question from Andra.
Damn it, I wanted to read Cat Mints. Sorry, Andra. Your question's great too.
Yeah, you read two in a
You
row.
can read the next one too.
Oh, thanks, guys. Okay, so Andra from Patreon says, was Phelan always meant to eventually join the group? Or were the Guardians so attached to him that you just gave him to them? Also, did you plan for him to be Fran's love interest?
I planned for him to be someone's love interest. I said, I got an angsty teen boy bomb. I'm going to throw it into this party and we're going to see who it sticks to.
Yeah.
And it's sure stuck to
Which
Fran.
is interesting because, like, here's the thing
Incredible.
from my perspective. Like, I was not planning on any of this. So, like, basically, I mean, I wasn't exactly sure where the roll to fall in love mechanic was gonna go, but like, so I forgot to roll to fall in love with Phelan in the scene, and then like afterwards, I was like, of course I have to roll to fall in love with Phelan. So like when we recorded the next episode, I was like, you guys, I forgot to do this, so I have to add it back. And I was like hoping that it would be low so that it wouldn't make sense that I like acted normally. And it was like I think like a 6. And so I didn't act any different, but then like when he showed up, I remember me as Noelle, like Kat was like, Phelan's there, and I was like, he's so hot. And then Caitlin and Sophia were like, Fran thinks Phelan's hot, and like that's been like the running joke. Like it was
That's
1,000,000%
amazing. I had
born
no-
of improv. And like that is the reason why Kat eventually was like, okay, Fran is gonna be the one that like it would be cutest with, because that's the only person that like has a dynamic in that way.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Did we all forget about the time that Corbin licked his spit?
I remember that. I
remember that, but I also don't think that is how one starts a productive
All I'm
romance.
saying is that there was
Kat.
to each their
It
own.
could have been beautiful.
Absolutely close-minded.
Yeah, close-minded.
It can still
There was
be
incredible
beautiful.
chemistry there.
Fran is
Untapped
open to her
potential.
boyfriend having a boyfriend.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, spit licking is not my fetish, and if it's your guys's, that's fine for you.
What is it like to experience your friend's spit
Well-
licking fetish, Kat?
Lord,
First-hand
every day
cat.
you try my patience.
First-hand Cat.
Ugh.
Was he what? Okay, so I got the feeling that we were like, if we had won the Battle of Yule, then Phelan would have joined our party. Then is that accurate?
He would have, he wouldn't have like joined your party,
but he would have
but
like
he
become
yeah,
our
he,
ally at that point.
Yeah, he would have become your ally sooner. But
That's cool.
I kind of like the slow burn.
Yeah, I like the way it happened.
He made us
Yeah,
work
that
for
would've
it.
been
I do
also
too.
cool.
Yeah.
yeah, that was such an interesting, like, very pivotal moment in the podcast, because I didn't plan for you guys to lose that battle.
Right.
Like, I liked the way it turned out, but I fully went in prepared for you guys to win, because that's how I go into every encounter, is that you're gonna win it.
Right.
And
Damn,
so
it's too bad at D&D. You couldn't predict.
Yeah.
well, and that was just a roll of the dice. That was just luck of the
Yeah,
dice.
it was truly.
I think like narratively it worked out really well though. 'Cause I
It
think
really
was-
did. It worked
yeah.
out great.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So the fates are on our side, I guess. If it was really just luck.
Gods of
Can
entertainment.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine if we lost that one and then we lost this one too? Like, Kat,
God.
what would have happened?
Devastating.
Podcast's
I
over.
really wanted you guys to win this one. I was like, God, I cannot
It would
have
have been
them lose
bad.
two.
It would have
I
been
think
bad.
you guys would have been so upset. I remember you guys were so upset at the end of Battle of Yule. Like, it was a good upset, but you were like
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
deeply,
mad.
deeply mad.
Yeah, we were wounded.
You were so wounded. I just remember standing in the foyer of Noelle's house being like, with you guys just looking like, oh God, like shell shocked. You were like, Kat, I'm so sad, but I'm it turned out really good, but I'm so sad.
Yeah.
That was like our first big finale, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. I mean, and like
Yeah, I remember listening to that,
Yeah.
and it was so intense.
that's yeah. I mean, I think like it was in a certain way that was a really interesting twist.
Mhm.
And I also thought it was an interesting twist that like Mary runs away from Torva in that scene. That was
Yeah,
cool.
I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
It was cool. And speaking of
Well,
Mary,
that's good.
Oh
let us
God.
go on to the next question.
Oh, yeah, you wanted to read this one.
Catherine.
Yes.
Cat Mints on Patreon. Also, someone on Discord.
Possibly also Cat Mints. I didn't pay attention to the name.
Would Mary woo or oh whoa?
I don't know what this means. I do not know what this
OWO.
means. I have no idea.
What's
What
this?
does this mean? I feel like a decrepit ancient monster.
Yeah,
This is- no,
literally
this is
you're not a
old. This is
decrepit
from-
ancient monster. You're like
This is
you're
from when we were
young,
teens.
Yeah,
ignorant.
this is like-
just born baby.
Yeah.
I
Like a
remember
normie.
Freaking
uwu.
normie.
I know uwu, but I don't understand owu.
Oh,
Is there a
whoa.
difference?
OWO, what's this?
Yeah, that's been around for like
OWO.
years and years.
I only knew UWU.
Centuries.
Uwu, and I knew that. I didn't know there was an owo. I didn't know there was a difference.
I mean, look at the face. Look at the face. The face is different cat.
I mean,
It's
yeah, but
a
what's the
it's a
difference?
very distinct emotion. They are
They're different
But
emotions.
Would Mary uwu or owu?
I think
What's-
Mary is a U underscore U. Is
I agree.
resigned.
I agree.
completely.
You know who would OWO?
Fucking Dashing Dawson.
Dashing Dawson.
Oh,
Is he?
God,
I don't
yeah,
know.
Dude.
I don't
Dashing
understand
Dawson for
this.
sure is an OW.
He would-
He's
here's
a-
what would
he's an
happen.
OWO.
He'd place he'd do something terrible to someone, and then He'd show up and he'd be
what's
like,
this?
"What's this? OWO." That's what he'd do. He's such a bastard.
I don't. So what is the functional difference between uwu
I mean,
and
and
owu?
ooh, they're just
They're different emotions.
But no, but then why is
Look at
somebody
them.
asking if she's uwu or
Oh,
owu?
whoa.
It depends on the
whoa
day.
Is like, oh, whoa, what's this? Like a fucking devil would say.
Yeah, it's coy.
And then ooh woo is like, ooh woo, pressed at the baby.
You're
Like
just
a
chilling.
different kind of devil would say.
like, I'm a baby.
Okay.
Like, I'm
Okay.
a little baby.
I guess she would
Okay,
uwu.
we gotta stop
I
this.
guess I felt like I was having a stroke when I saw this question twice. I was like, the first time I was like, this is okay, I don't know what this is, but it's been asked twice. So now we had to answer it.
It's important.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I'm not cool.
I don't know
think
if
'cause
that
then
makes
we-
you uncool, not knowing that.
Maybe I'm very cool.
Yeah.
I'm just cooler than all of you.
Yeah, that's
That might
probably
be
true.
the case.
That's true. Nice.
Anyway, I think that comes to the end of our questions
This is the end.
from the various sources because we skipped that last one up to the front.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say, how are we feeling, guys? Do we want to do a couple questions from the audience? Here's a good one from Humble Boy. What advice would you give to someone who's trying to get back into creative writing?
Ooh.
Do it.
I think. Do it. Just do it. Be a
Yeah.
Nike
Yeah,
and just do it. But like, I think also like for me, whenever I get back into creative writing, I always I feel so great. Like that's the best part. I think
Yeah.
the hardest part is then like sticking with it after that.
Mhm.
Yes.
I spoiler alert about my personal life. I literally was actually talking to my therapist about this
Nice.
last week. I was like, I want to write, but I have zero ability to do it. And so some of the things that we came up with was, this is very stereotypical, but literally just make yourself pick one day out of the week that you have to write for like 15 minutes and just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, things that inspire me that I forget inspire me are Pinterest boards, reading things.
Yes. Reading.
This is going to sound very petty and mean, and I am so sorry. There's wonderful fan fiction out there, and
Oh,
it's
girl.
incredibly well written.
Bruh.
But reading bad fan fiction and then being like, I could do this, and then writing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's always the way.
is a huge motivator for me, which is
Yeah.
incredibly terrible, but it is the truth.
Especially if it's like,
No, it's
especially if it's
absolutely
really
true.
popular and it's pretty
Yes,
bad.
yes.
Then you're like,
Yeah,
are
yeah.
you kidding me? I will
Like
destroy.
this? I'm going to be
Yep.
famous.
Exactly.
My
so true. Yeah.
like the most helpful thing that got me back into writing regularly was there's this thing I saw on writing that was talking about how like comparing it to a dam and how when you first like open like a dam, the water that comes out is going to be brackish and bad, but then it will eventually run clear, and that is creative writing. You just have to forgive yourself the time that it will take to remember how to write.
Yeah, like don't expect it
Yeah.
to be good.
Especially if you're rusty, because that's what I've been struggling with, is that I haven't written for so long, and then I'll look at my old writing and then look at what I'm writing now and be like, why did I get bad? But like, you just have to make yourself keep doing
Well,
it.
and I
Yeah.
think the thing is too is it's like, at least for me, you're probably always going to think what you're doing at the moment is kind of bad, no matter how good it gets.
Yes,
with
yeah.
with moments of exceptions, but like usually the things that I write in those moments are the things that I later am like, I'm a pretentious idiot. But I think yeah, just be like, I'm gonna write like the shittiest shit that ever shit a shit. Do not write anything that you're planning to like show to someone. Like mess with that later. Like be like, this is gonna be my roughest draft and I'm gonna throw it away. And maybe that won't be true later, but just like tell yourself it's true. Anyway, that's probably more than this person wanted. Also, they had to leave,
Yep.
so
So-
we've just been answering that for the recording. But thanks.
I
Hannah.
enjoyed it.
Thanks, Hannah.
Thank you, Hannah.
Let's do another question.
Let's also do another question. Somebody asked, will Noelle be there for Damien Dive? Yes, I will. And I'll probably be there for most of the live streams. Like, I'll be around.
Yeah. Noelle isn't abandoning us.
No.
Hurrah.
I'll be around.
She
I'll
can't.
be here. But I just, I just am not going to be editing or recording as Fran. Kat, do you have any other rhyming DM rules, such as rule of cool or if it meets, it beats?
Yes, both of those.
Both of those. This is a question for the three of you and not for me. Andra asks, what species of Animal Crossing villagers would your characters be, or yourselves, or any NPC?
I honestly think that Mary would be a human villager.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that feels right.
That makes sense.
I mean,
right.
Corbin
Thematically.
would obviously be a crow villager, so.
Yeah.
One
He'd
of
be
those
like
little
the
birds.
eagle, but would he be like the little bird or the eagle?
I actually think he'd be one of the little birds.
I think so.
I agree,
Little
little
bird
bird
for
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So cute.
Leica would be a wolf. No doubt.
No question. No question.
Yeah,
No question.
obviously.
What about Slate?
Oh, Rudy's in the chat. He said brackish.
Oh,
Hi, Rudy.
Rudy. Hi, Rudy.
Hey.
Rudy, we miss you so much.
Thank you for
Rudy.
writing a word for my damn metaphor.
I love it. Nohalani
Bless you.
asks Noelle, how long?
Wait, no. What's Slate?
Oh, I'm so
Wait,
sorry.
I didn't
I'm
get
so
my
sorry. I thought you were
animal.
done.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is important
I
to
want to
me.
hear it. I want to
I'm so sorry. Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, there's that amazing and very cool and perfect bug loving
Flick, yeah.
like lizard
Yes,
that I'm
people have
in
been
love
saying.
with, and I'm going to marry.
Yeah, that just is Slake.
I love them so much, and they give me a lot of Animal Crossing villagers give me very strong non-binary
Yeah.
vibes, and I love that. And I feel like Flick definitely gives me those vibes. So I want to be some sort of cool ass lizard. But wait, we should decide what Fran would be too.
Fran would be an octopus.
Yes.
You would? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
one of the
really? I
octopuses.
didn't think
one
of
the little
that.
octopus.
Dashing Dawson. Dashing Dawson would be Crazy Red.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't
You're
know
right.
what any of these things mean, but I trust
Does that mean Mr. Wennell's
Yes.
Tom Nook? And Timmy and Tommy are just
One
both
of them
Mickey?
is the demon and one of them is Mickey.
Oh my god. Miss Seeker's Isabel. It's all
It's
coming together.
All coming together.
Someone please. Animal Crossing AU. Let's see. Let's do another question.
Hannah,
before
will Professor Shaw ever make a reappearance?
That's a great question.
I mean, I'm always down. I love playing this man who loves the sound of his own voice, as you know.
would you
so,
would
you
you
know,
want to
I'm
play
down.
Shaw while also playing Slake and experience the hell that I live in?
I mean, I think it could be funny. I mean, if you wanted me to,
Oh my
I'd
God.
consider.
Okay, well, I'm
I'll say
gonna
that.
put that one in my back pocket because I have actually wanted Shaw to make a reappearance, but I didn't want you to make you live in my hell.
Listen, I have no shame. I'll do anything for the money.
Well, I think that is all for us tonight. Thank you everybody for your questions. I hope our answers were satisfactory, and I hope your evenings are full of joy.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you, sweet listeners. We hope you are well
pray for
in these
you.
dark
Stay
times.
Just be your own sweet and sour pomelo.
Pomelo.
And have a good night.
Stop it, Caitlin. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, sweet friendos.